Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to yet again another episode of the Pivot Mindset Podcast. We are super excited to have you here today. See, guys, here at the Pivot Mindset Podcast, we believe that life is all about the pivots, and those who decide to make the pivots decide to become successful. We believe that success is a decision, that it's an intentional and deliberate decision that we get the chance to make each and every single day. But the only way to be successful is to continue to change, to evolve, to grow, and to pivot in life. And so if you're checking out this episode and this podcast for the first time, welcome. Welcome to this community. We're super, super excited to have you here. We are a new but growing podcast. And so for some quick housekeeping, if you would please rate this episode, we would love, it helps all of the algorithm, whether that be on YouTube. You can find our podcast listed on YouTube, as well as on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, but wherever you're listening to this podcast at, we would appreciate if you would leave us a rating and review. This all helps build traction within the algorithm. There are tons of other podcasts out there that give out great information, but the way that people find this one and that they can connect with our community is that you leave a review, that you would leave some support and some love. And so we just want to first say thank you in advance for doing that, and let's dive into the episode. This episode is sponsored by Garden, Landscape, and Tree Services. Garden, Landscape, and Tree Services are the trusted professionals for all of your tree removal needs. Garden, Landscape, and Tree Services specialize in safe and efficient tree removal services and tree care in the greater Akron and Cleveland areas. Garden, Landscape, and Tree Services offers free estimates. They are fully insured and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. I have personally done business with Garden, Landscape, and Tree Services. My good friend Mike is the owner. He's extremely hardworking and a very knowledgeable arborist. For my listeners, Mike and Garden, Landscape, and Tree Services is offering $100 off of your next tree removal service. Call Garden, Landscape, and Tree Services today at 330-807-8483 or visit their website at www.gardentreescape.com for more information and to get this great offer and hazardous trees off of your property. And so, guys, the thing that I want to talk about today is something that if you survey the people that are closest to me, my group of friends, my family, this is something that I believe is super near and dear to my heart. And it's something that I think cripples and holds so many people back from accomplishing what they were placed on earth to accomplish. You see, I believe that our dreams go to die in our comfort zone. Our dreams, like when we are born, when we first hit this earth, what we begin to do from the day we learn, grow, develop is we start to get these limiting beliefs placed on us, often by people around us that love us the most. That could be a family member, that could be a friend. When we're young, we're told you can be anyone, you can go out and be anything. But then when we get older and we go maybe through grade school and eventually through high school and you start to learn what your strengths are, then people tell you what you can and cannot do. And by way of this continuing to happen over periods of time, you start to find where your comfort zone is. You begin to calibrate yourself to areas of comfortability in your life. If you are someone that is not tall, you may be told that basketball is not a thing for you. And so you may not play basketball, or you may limit your exposure and how much you dedicate time to it because you were told that you couldn't do that by other people. If you are someone out there and you may have a speech impediment, or you may stutter, or you may struggle with communicating, you may be told by other people that you should get into things in life that does not involve you communicating or speaking or talking. They place limiting beliefs on us based on their interpretation of who we actually are. But the truth is, we don't even really know who we are. So we have to be careful by listening to other people who don't know us as much as we know us, tell us who we really are. And so what that means from a comfort zone perspective is our comfort zone, again, is something that we're often told by other people, or we give ourselves a calibration of where our comfort zone should be in our lives. And the only challenging part about being comfortable, because I love being comfortable, guys. Like, I love hanging out on a Sunday, laying on the couch, being comfortable, watching football or watching a good movie or eating some popcorn while you're watching your favorite TV show. That's all cool. Like being comfortable is nice. Being comfortable is fun. But the challenge with being comfortable is typically, especially for those that are striving, especially those that have a pivoted mindset, is that comfort is often the opposite of success. Those who want to be comfortable typically bump up against the desire in you to be more than you've ever seen or done before. And so we believe, and I'm kind of toying around this subject for today, is that life and all of our dreams that are encompassed in it go to die in our comfort zone. Life and all that encompasses in it, including our dreams, that goes to die in our comfort zone. See, the inability to not get out of your comfort zone is the biggest thing holding you back. Becoming the person that you were placed on earth to be, and not becoming that individual is the biggest thing holding you back. Everything that you want out of life is right on the opposite side of your comfort zone. Let's break this down a little more, because what typically holds us back when it comes to being in our comfort zone is fear. And fear is one of the biggest enablers to comfort. It's one of the biggest restraints when it comes to people really going out to accomplish what they want out of life, really going out to strive for the thing that they know that's on that's deep down within them. And it's typically fear holding them back. And so the thing about fear and what makes it so crippling is that fear is physical. Fear is not just a thing in your mind, but fear is a physical experience. And it's triggered by a strong physical reaction in your body. And so as soon as you recognize fear, we have been blessed to have the amygdala, which is like this small organ in the middle of our brain. And that organ begins to go to work the minute that we start to sense fear. And so the challenging part is that this sets your body into a fear response, and it begins a multitude of different reactions that your body begins to jump into when it's starting to react out of fear. And so you have the stress hormones that are released, your blood pressure and heart rate increase, your breathing pace starts to increase, and ultimately your body is preparing to either fight or to flight, right? And like this is necessary, when in early ages of life, when you had caveman, right? And you had we didn't have means to protecting ourselves, and we didn't have law enforcement, we didn't have firearms, we didn't have the things that we have now, we didn't have houses, right? Like our bodies have evolved so much, and our minds haven't evolved at the pace in which our bodies have, or our emotional state have. And so your mind still thinks and it still reacts like you are a caveman or a cavewoman, and that you have to go out and pretend or protect and defend yourself every single day. And that's all good when you are in a dark alley and you're walking to your car on the way leaving an event, and you have to be super aware of your surroundings and be prepared to protect yourself in case something does happen. But that is not helpful when you are trying to start your business. Your mind thinks that anything getting out of its comfort zone is going to kill you. And so your mind often doesn't know the difference between the fear from something life-threatening, as in someone trying to inflict imminent bodily harm to you, versus you starting a business, versus you walking up to someone that you admire and wanting to have a conversation with them to pick their brain on something. Fear to your brain is fear. Doesn't matter the level in which it actually is. To your brain, fear is fear, and it processes it similarly as it would for life-threatening, life-inflicting things. And so I bring that up, and we dive deep here, because the main part of fear, right, is it's to keep you safe. That's the main goal of fear. But safe is often the opposite of greatness. And if you're going to be great, you're going to need to display and embody courage, right? And because the thing that we know about courage is not an absence of fear. Courage is simply a strength that when you feel the fear, you can go and produce and move anyway. Courage is not an absence of fear. Courage is the ability to be afraid, but to do it anyway. And so my goal for this episode is really to give you courage, give you courage to be the kind of person that you were placed on earth to be. Like, give you the courage to make the steps necessary in your life to change your family tree, to change what you've seen, to climb heights that you never thought you could actually climb. Because like the people that are subscribed to the Pivot Mindset podcast is, you have this mindset that you have to always overcome. You have to always discipline. You have to always keep in check, because if you aren't careful and if you give your mind if you let your mind do its own thing, it will always work out of fear. It will work extremely hard to put you back in your comfort zone. And so with building a life, a business, relationships, etc., of your dreams, you've got to have it made up in your mind that you're going to get uncomfortable. It's not going to feel natural. It's going to be awkward, right? Getting uncomfortable and getting to this space that you're not any longer going to allow the fear of judgment, fear of persecution, fear of rejection, fear of failure. Like, I could continue to name the list of things why people don't actually go out to accomplish the lives that they know that they have deep down on the inside of them. This is a purpose-driven conversation. This is a conversation for people that don't want to settle for the mediocrity. And the part that we have to always be mindful of is that success in accomplishing is a individual. There's an individual rule and metric that you identify what success means. Guys, I'm gonna be honest here. This is something that I personally struggled with for a while, is that whenever you start to accomplish things, especially, as you're accomplishing things as for the next generation. So for example, for myself, I was the first person in my immediate family to get a 4-year college degree, right? And also the first one to buy a house in my immediate family. And, the list kind of goes on and on, but what I could have easily done, and this is something I had to continue to discipline my mind to not do, was I could take the applause of others as success for myself. I could take me being able to go past other people's barriers and getting applause from them as being a successful feat for myself, knowing that that was just a beginning to me. And I think a lot of us can get in that place. I know personally I have, and have to always fight that, is though you're accomplishing, you could have people around you that see where you currently are as their height of success, right? You could see where for you, what may be a 5 on your scale be a 10 on someone else's scale. And if you're not careful, you could look around for approval of others, and that in and of itself can get you back in a comfort zone. That can put you in a place where you pull off the reins and you say, you know what, I'm good where I'm at. But what we're here to really deal with and identify is fulfillment, right? Like, not success for the sake of success, but success in that you feel fulfilled in life, that you are happy, not complacent happy with your life, but happy with the effort that you put out to be impactful to other people, to change other people's lives, and to get everything out that is on the inside of you out into this world, because that's what you were placed on earth for. You were placed on earth full, deposited with all these things that the life that we live in would need to sustain. You are a seed, and when you were planted in the earth, all the nutrients, everything that you would be to the world was placed on the inside of you. And if you are not careful, you could live life only accessing a very small portion of what's on the inside of you, what you're capable of, what you've got to be able to impact and change the world. I believe that everyone is great. I believe that everyone placed on earth has the ability, has the seed and the nutrients down within them to be great and significantly impact the world. The God that I serve does not do anything small. Just the mere fact on how you got to earth is a significant chance. Like the millions of sperm cells that had to compete against one another to get into an embryo. Like, you are one in, I don't know the specific numbers, but you're one in hundreds or if not millions that you made it into the earth. So you weren't placed here by accident. You were placed here on purpose. And so it's extremely important that if you understand that you were placed here by purpose and on purpose, that you know that how easy it is to settle and get caught up in like being comfortable with where you are, right? And so we're diving deep into that. We're diving deep into that. So the thing about comfort is, again, it's super convenient. Being comfortable is super convenient, but don't you personally deserve like to accomplish every single thing out of life that you want? Your children deserves mommy or daddy to operate at their best. Doesn't your family deserve a changed version of you, that you're not only just able to help your family tree, but you're able to help the community that you serve? Again, don't you deserve it? You've been through so much. You've experienced so much in life, and you haven't experienced these things simply for the sake of experiencing them, but you've experienced these things that they may be the seasoning for what's already on the inside of you. And that once you get the chance to understand and learn how powerful you are, how capable you are, how equipped you are, how world renowned you are, if you could learn to access that version of you and give that out to the world, every single thing that you dream about, every single thing that you want out of life will be at your disposal, because you are simply doing what you were called on earth to be. We talked about in the last episode that if you could find a place in life that you have no rivals, place in life that you were uniquely and distinctly created to fulfill and to occupy, you will find yourself in spaces that everything that you went through, whether it was good or bad, somehow works together for your good. The problems you may have experienced, your upbringing that you may have had, your financial picture, your social economic class, the way that you speak, the way that you look, your hair color, your hair length, your body complexion, like all these things work together. None of it goes unused. So you are uniquely, powerfully, and wonderfully made. And the biggest tool working against you is your fear. Your fear that wants to keep you in your comfort zone. Your fear that wants you to scale back and stop doing what you're doing. The fear that says, you know what, you've made it enough. You've accomplished enough. You've passed everyone around you. You've surpassed what people thought you would be. So stop. That's the voice that will continue to tell you to cower down and get back in your shell and not continue to push the limits and the boundaries of what you're capable of. And so if you're listening to this episode today and you struggle with fear and you struggle with being comfortable and easily scaling back into your comfort zone, I want to encourage you in that this is something that every single person has to struggle with. And the more you get consistent with being courageous, the more you find yourself getting out and doing things intentionally to get out of your comfort zone. You see, this fear muscle, your amygdala, that begins to trigger this fear response in your body, though it's an organ, it's also a muscle. Like it's something that can be trained. It's something that the more and more you get afraid and your body knows and learns that this thing won't kill you, the less and less the fear response will kick in, right? And again, the fear response is super important and critical when it's something that can cause great bodily injury or great bodily harm. But when it comes to you going and starting the business, or you going back to school to get your master's or your bachelor's degree, or any other thing that you would like to accomplish in your life, you need your amygdala. You need your fear responses to calm down, to pipe down, to allow you to be the better version. And so what are some recommendations? Here's one. One of my mentors said, do something, and it's a crazy suggestion, but I'm going to suggest it to the group here. For example, if you have a struggle with getting uncomfortable and it's hard for you to get out of your comfort zone, here's an exercise that you can do. And this isn't mine, I stole it, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But if I challenge you to go to a local coffee shop, Starbucks or any of your local coffee shops near you, and when you get into the coffee shop, find a nice, like clear, hopefully clean, but if it's not, it doesn't matter, a nice clear space on the ground, and just go into the coffee shop in the middle of the floor. It could be Panera Bread, it could be Starbucks, it could be any place. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a coffee shop, just somewhere where people would look at you like you're crazy. And just go out and lay on the floor. in the middle of the coffee shop, in the middle of the establishment. If the thought of doing this freaks you out, there's room for you to develop and get stronger and back down that fear response, those fear responders that want to keep you bound, right? And so but I bring that example up because there's tons of different things that you can do to start to get stronger with taking the risk or getting out of your comfort zone. That was just one recommendation. But truly, in order to get out of that, you have to do the thing that keeps you fearful, right? So if you're afraid of public speaking, guess what? You got to public speak more. If you're afraid to walk up to random strangers, guess what? You got to start walking up to random strangers. If you're afraid to take risk, guess what? You got to take more risk. Again, life is reciprocal. And the thing that you want, if you would continue to give it and do more for other people, you will start to learn that if it's money, if you want more money, if you could find a way to start giving more, you will in fact get more money. If you want to be more happy, if you find a way to be more joyful or to give happiness or to give encouragement to other people, you will find in fact that will come back to you. And so as we land the plane here, understand that all of our dreams go to die in our comfort zone, and that your comfort zone is not comfortable to your destiny. Your comfort zone is only comfortable to the version of you that continues to remain submissive to being mediocre. Your comfort zone is only strengthened when you continue to dial back who you are. Your comfort zone is only good to keep you safe. And if you're tired of being safe, because safety is literally just an imagination, it's not real. If you're tired of being safe in life, let's do something today. I challenge you, let's do something today to get out of our comfort zone. Go ahead and make that call. Go ahead and post that YouTube video. Go ahead and post that thing down social media and tell people the new project that you're getting ready to start, to finally put yourself out there. Go ahead and talk to your manager or your boss and tell them that you want to work to get a promotion. Like, let's start doing the things that get us uncomfortable, because if we want to become the versions of ourselves that we know we're capable of, we have to get obsessed with being uncomfortable. And I make the decision, I make the declaration today that no longer my dreams are going to continue to die in my comfort zone. I will not let my dreams die because I was too comfortable to accomplish them. There's so many other reasons why my dreams can die, but being comfortable will not be one of those reasons. So I just want to first say thank you again to all of you that are listening to this podcast. Please, as I mentioned before, hit the subscribe button. We would love to have your follow here. We would love to have your continued support with the Pivot Mindset podcast. And you can check us out on YouTube at Justin Carter. Check myself out on Instagram at _Justin Carter, or on Facebook at Justin Carter as well. Thank you. Peace.